afford to buy Chinese food for them.
Oh yeah, that is
Because,
true.
you know, then another kid shows up and you order a few more things, you know. It's not like you're sitting down for a dinner and you're ordering a steak, and that's too fancy. It's
Yes.
really casual. They come running in.
Mm.
So that was, you know, that's one of the things that I think kept us together.
But it didn't always start off that way, Sanjana. We started off kind of rocky, actually, in that we were blending two families, 4 of my children, 2 of her children. We had fallen in love, and now we're trying to blend the two families. And I came from an Italian heritage that, you know, family is very important. You get everybody together and you have a big pasta meal and you have a lot of fun. And that's what I thought we'd be, you know, able to do with the combined families.
Well, I was
found.
Hello Jeanette, how are
Hi.
you?
good.
It's been a while since we met.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was busy season, right?
Right.
Everybody, did you have a great Thanksgiving?
I was going to ask you that same thing. Yes,
Just
wonderful. It was great.
Yeah, cooking and
Yeah, well, what was really wonderful is this is the first time ever that I not cooked.
oh,
So we all went to our daughter's house, one of our children's houses, and they did all the cooking. And it really was really relaxing. I didn't know what to do with myself.
yeah. Hi Joe, how are you?
Good.
Good. It's nice to see you. You know, I really wanted you to come and, you know, be able to talk to you. And
I'm happy to be here with you.
I'm so glad you guys both are here. So I'm gonna, being a family person myself, you know, I always think about like, what are the things that, you know, are important for the family, so the family stays together. You know, every day, I know every day is a different, I would say like, okay, this is what, you know, I could do to bring them together. You know, maybe we can go for lunches together or something. But what do you guys think, having a successful and a close-knit family, what do you guys think, Jeanette? What do you think, Jeanette? Like, what is it that is the most important thing for a family to be united and together?
I think it would be my thoughts that we never had the kids not speak to each other or us not speak to each other and the kids see that. I think that's really an important thing for
So it's communication.
communication, yeah. And there's a ton of stuff, you know, eating together if that's possible now with the kids, with all their athletic things, that's not so easy, but you could have a Sunday night dinner.
Okay.
And something consistent. That's what I think we did with the kids is consistency. There was a point where when they were all teenagers, or some of them were, we have a 10-year gap, 10 years between our first and our last child.
Okay.
So, but we did a Chinese dinner every Wednesday.
Okay.
And the kids could bring a friend. No, we just find another chair, stick them in, you know, order a little more rice. And it was always fun. And their kids felt comfortable inviting their friends.
Their friends, which is
So-
always a challenge,
Yeah,
right?
always a challenge.
Especially that teenage years, yeah.
But they weren't obligated to come. It was all optional. They
Okay.
could show up for Chinese food or not show up for Chinese food.
Okay.
But we always had them show up. It was
Yeah.
it was fun for them. We celebrated birthdays at the Chinese restaurant. We had our own little tables because sometimes we'd have 4 people, Janet and I and a couple of kids, and sometimes we'd have 24 people. But it was all very, very optional. And we'd go through all the celebrations. And as Janet mentioned, the kids liked it so much that they would bring the guests. And we just throw, as she said, another chair in. So it was
So
Very
basically keeping it consistent.
Consistent.
So there's a structure like, okay, every Wednesday this is gonna happen.
Right. And we could afford to buy Chinese food for them.
Oh yeah, that is
Because,
true.
you know, then another kid shows up and you order a few more things, you know.
Mm.
It's not like you're sitting down for a dinner and you're ordering a steak and
Mm.
that's too
Yeah.
fancy. It's
Yes.
really casual. They come
Mm.
running in.
Mm.
So that was, you know, that's one of the things that I think keep us together.
But it didn't always start off that way, Sanjana. We started off kind of rocky, actually, in that we were blending two families. Four of my children, two of her children. We had fallen in love, and now we're trying to blend the two families. And I came from an Italian heritage that, you know, family is very important. You get everybody together and you have a big pasta meal and you have a lot of fun. And that's what I thought we'd be, you know, able to do with the combined families.
Well,
Yeah,
my family is Italian too.
Yes.
So
So she had the same
the
feeling.
similarities were
Yeah.
very good.
But it didn't work out that way at the beginning because when you've got kids, her kids, who are used to going skiing, to the beach, and those types of activities,
More.
and my family from New York, that there were no beaches to go to, and they didn't ski because it's flat where
Yes.
we lived in New York.
Yeah.
So there were the stories were different. The stories that her kids would tell were different than my kids. So started off with when we had a party, her family went into that room and my family went into that room, and you didn't get this coming together. But gradually, we just stayed at it, and after a few years, the kids call their brother's brother and sister's
Okay.
sister,
Okay.
and it's really a truly blended family. But I just want to mention, it didn't start off that way.
It did
Start off rocky. You know, I don't want anybody to think that Camelot came all of a sudden. It wasn't that way.
But they could also see your love, so
Yes.
that
Yes.
also helps, right? Like, you know.
Yes. Very important
We
to
had a
me
lot
that.
of fun too. When everybody was together. The kids looked forward to that.
Yeah.
So
But to me, it starts with you hit the nail right on the head. Starts with the parents.
Yes.
If the kids are observing a love between the two of their
The
parents,
parents, yeah.
they'll feel that.
Mm.
If the kids are feeling tension between the parents, it's a whole different
Because
story.
they can absorb, like they can sense
Yes.
it.
Yes.
I've seen the kids are very intuitive, you know, even if they don't, parents are quiet in front of them, they would sense it.
Yes.
they do. They do. And
Yeah.
it's kind of sad.
Mm.
And we were
It's that
always
they hurt for that.
Yeah.
They need to see
Mm.
they're adults that are
Yeah.
loving.
Yes. Yes.
And you can do that, you know, even if in a divorce, you can do that if it's done right.
Yes. Yeah. Mm.
Anyhow, we don't want to get on those kinds of subjects.
Yeah, but I also like, it's good you talked about that because it's good to respect humans as humans, whether
Right.
it's, I would say that, like, there could be differences between two individuals, doesn't make them bad,
Right,
right?
right.
And we always tried to treat each of the 6 children individually and not judge one by what the other one did. So we've got children who are high achievers and we've got children who have learning disabilities. And trying to compare them together would never work for us. We didn't want to do it anyway. So we dealt with each one, whatever what their passion was or what their desires were, what their ability was. We dealt with each one individually. And I think the end result is all 6 of them turned out okay. Really good.
Yeah.
So
And then, so as you said, like, if someone brought forward a challenge, then you would you share with the other siblings or no? Or is it just, I'm talking to you and parents have talked to that kid?
As on
And let's say a child brings a challenge, for any situation at school or is there a situation that happened. Do the other kids know about it or knew about it or
no,
no?
I don't think so. I think
Yeah,
we have kept those those to ourselves
Okay.
unless they gave us permission to do
Okay.
that.
So
Yes.
kind
And
of.
then the troubles, his children would come to him, of course,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
mine would come to me.
Mm.
Getting them to not do that takes time.
Oh yeah.
Takes time and experience with other things. But-
Yeah.
And eventually they do, but they still still do that.
Yeah.
And that's just,
Mm.
probably in every family, I wouldn't know, but
Yeah.
every family, there's
Yeah.
one that's,
There is one. Yeah.
Yeah.
For something, like my kids would go to my husband. For other things, they'll come to me. So they know
Right.
which parent to pick.
Right.
Yes.
So for what?
And we,
Yeah.
a funny incident when we first got together, her son asked to do something, and she said, which was our standard response, "Let me check with Joe."
Mm.
Okay? And he said, "Well, for all these past 13 years,
you've been
You've
alone.
you've been
Single
giving
mom.
giving the decisions.
Decisions.
How come all of a sudden now you can't make a decision?" He has
Without
to.
Joe.
So we had to work through that,
And that's more of a teenage thing, I think. Teenagers are always
Right.
like rebel. A
Yes.
little bit. Their minds are.
Yeah,
They want to ask questions. Which is a good
Challenge.
thing. Challenge. They want to, challenge the parent. Like, okay,
Yeah.
So
we were
that
pretty
is
lucky.
good. Yeah.
Pretty lucky with our kids.
Yeah.
We were strict, by the way. Some people say, there's a new philosophy, which is you've got to be
Too friendly.
less strict, I
Less
guess is the
strict,
way.
Yeah.
We were strict with them, and we got through all of them with no drinking problems and no drug problems.
Yeah.
Being strict.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I know.
A lot of
Yeah,
that is
that
luck.
is-
Some
that
of
is-
that is luck.
Yes.
Some of it's
Yeah.
luck, that's for sure.
But we probably did constant supervision in some way or the other. I would say purely, because kind of being there for them
Yes.
always. They
Right.
don't need those things to
Exactly.
feel happy or feel So when the kids met, they were teenagers, right? And
We had 2 boys in college, 4 children in high school.
We had,
No, wait a
let's
minute.
see, 4 of them living with us
4,
at home, going
and
to
the other
school.
2 were going to college.
Yeah,
Mm.
2 at college.
The youngest one was, well, no, let's start with the oldest. The oldest was 21, and the youngest was
11, you said, right? The youngest,
Yeah.
10 years gap.
10-year gap, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
she was living at home. Well,
Yeah.
3 of them or 4 were living at home. 1, 2, 3,
One time, 4 of them.
4 of them at one
Right.
time. Yeah.
We had
And
4 at home
one
and 2
went
in
to
college.
Yeah.
We
So-
had one of the college boys come home. He'd come home on a weekend if he knew we weren't going to be there.
And we had
That
another
didn't
one.
go over very well for us.
And then we had another one that would come home when she would cook chocolate chip cookies, and you get a load of them to take back to school. So, yeah.
So
That's fun.
did you ever feel that food also played a role bringing them together?
The food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The youngest son, Scott, came home one day after school and he opened the refrigerator and he said, "Where's that leftover pasta that was last night?" He said, "John was here." And he said he ate that pasta. And Scott says, "By the time I get in college, you won't have any cooking on anymore. So I'm not going to be able to have it then either."
I had never thought of it until St. John had mentioned that food has brought the family
Yes,
together.
yeah.
You heard the story
Yeah.
about Chinese. We did that for years, by the way, not for just 1 year. I mean, we did
We had
that.
a few grandchildren in strollers that hung out there.
So you're talking
Yeah.
15
Was
years.
it the
we
same
did that.
restaurant every time? Or?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
same. Okay.
Same
There was a
location.
woman,
Same
a
location.
woman and her husband owned it, and then he died, and her son came in and ran
Okay.
the restaurant, and she retired, and the son is still running the restaurant on
Mm.
Santa Rita Road.
And we became friends with
With the owners.
the owner, Jimmy, and the wife, and she used to, when we'd have a birthday party, we wouldn't tell her. We just, she booked the corner of the restaurant for us. She'd never let those tables go on a Wednesday night. We always had them. And when it was a birthday party, we didn't know that a tradition of her nationality was to have a full-size fish. Now, we didn't know that. But first time, all the kids are around. We got probably 20 people there. We're going to have a birthday party. And she comes out with this gigantic, full-size fish, puts it on the table, and the kids all go, oh.
We used to see the fish fillets.
Yes.
Yeah, so this was definitely
This
not
was
a
like
fillet.
The eyes and everything.
Yes.
was
Everything.
together.
They had everything. It was, and then we insisted
became-
the kids try a little bit of it,
Yeah.
because
We were
otherwise we hurt her feeling, yeah.
But nobody wanted to eat it, and we were embarrassed. And I know we broke her heart. We tried very hard to eat as much as we could.
Right, but a lot of it went back.
Yeah.
But we explained to her that, at a birthday party, generally with our family, we don't have that. So she would send out oranges and other things on a birthday party.
So-
She never did the fish again.
Never did.
Never
She
did.
knew that.
Yeah.
Yes, but food, I just wanted to mention that until you just said that, I never really
Yeah.
knew the meals at home, the
Yeah.
Chinese food,
Always
meals at home, chocolate
food
chip
in the
cookies,
refrigerator.
all of that.
Yeah.
For the kids, especially boys.
Yeah, especially
They
the
eat a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
refrigerator has to have food all the time.
Yeah.
So based on what I heard, consistency is important. You went to the same place and same day, so there was some a pattern to
So
it.
we could all join up.
Get to
Yeah.
not that every time new place, because then it gets confusing
Right.
for
Right.
kids where to
Right.
sit, what to order, and those kind of things, right?
And we found, if you go to order in a restaurant,
Mm.
it just takes so long,
Mm.
and if somebody comes in at 6 and the other one shows up at 7,
Yeah, it
doesn't
won't
work.
work. Yeah,
doesn't work. But it does for Chinese food.
yeah,
So
they're very quick
that
in
was our-
cooking too.
our success.
Very quick.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
they also learned, the kids learned just to show up and not to think they were going to order their own private plate. Well, I only like the walnuts and cashews. We didn't do that. It was family style.
Family
And
style.
that way also, when additional people came, we just added another dish.
Another entree and then
Yeah.
sharing.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I wanted to mention,
Are we getting too deep into the?
No, that's fine. But I feel it's really good because, something I never thought about. We always try to try different places, but it's good to have a same place.
Yeah.
That
Same
way there
time-
is
same
same
time,
time,
too,
same
same
place.
place,
There's no too
same day of
much
the week.
planning is needed.
what I was going to
Yeah.
add to that, St. John, is it's optional. It's not forced.
Okay.
In my family, a long time ago, my grandmother and grandfather used to have spaghetti dinner at 5 o'clock Sunday. If you weren't there, you're in big trouble. Okay? There were no options. You had to be there.
So you modified that.
Yes, so ours was never forced. We just said, we'll be there. Two of us, at least two of us, will be at the Chinese restaurant on Santa Rita Road at 6 o'clock on such and such a Wednesday, and see who shows up.
Slowly,
Yeah.
they started liking. In the beginning you said there were less kids, and then
More kids and more
So-
better. And then eventually it faded out because the kids got older. Some
Went to
of them went to
college.
college.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they don't come back. They go live somewhere else, or we had a son that went to Chicago out of college, and
Yeah.
so it didn't, but it served its purpose.
It served
then.
its purpose. Nothing is forever, but it did.
Yeah.
It's that time when you needed it, right?
Yes.
And by that time, I think we had laid our, what I call, value system on the kids
Yeah.
by being with them every week, all of them every week. They got what we were all about.
What the
They-
message
yeah,
was,
they got
what the whole
yeah.
message was about this dinner that
Yeah.
you were hosting. That is nice to know. And then you said there were rules. There were you were there were rules in the family,
Yes.
and then those you
Yeah,
you
it's
made
hard to-
sure it.
Yeah. It's hard to be tough enough, and hard to be love enough to
Yes,
make
there's
them still feel loved, and
Yes, that's the challenge all
That
the
is a
time.
challenge.
Yeah.
But we lucked out on that part, I can say.
Yes. Yeah.
But, and then the marriage.
So was who was the more stricter one?
Me.
Who is it?
You think so?
Me? Oh, absolutely. Unless it was one of the days where, one of the times you blew your stack real big. There was a couple of those, not very often. But other than that,
She had a shorter fuse than I did.
but when that fuse went up, look out.
When they pushed to a certain level, then I would blow up.
Yeah. So they knew that mom they can't take for granted.
Right.
Got to be. That's actually every household has to have that one parent, you know.
Yeah, I think
Yes,
so.
yeah, that to make sure that there is a limit you can push, right?
Sure.
Yeah. But that is so nice. That is a good tip for the new families, you know, the younger families.
Yeah.
You know. Sometimes they're confused, like, should we be strict? Should we be lenient? Because there are all these new theories
Yes,
coming up, right? So, being friend, make your kids your friends. Okay, but how much,
How
right?
much
You
of a
know?
friend?
So then this is a good kind of, you went out with, you know, took them out every week, and there was this thing, okay, call anybody. So they had this open invite. But then there were rules that, okay, you need to ask the parent for doing this or that. So that is good, yeah. But thank you so much. Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you, Joe,
Thank you.
for coming and talking about this.
Sure.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you wanna talk about anything at all, then you know who to call. Just tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Just tell Sanjana.